At the outset, I thank the DMA and MSWA for arranging such a nice seminar and giving me an opportunity to deliver a lecture on a very important topic of guidelines issued by State Government of Maharashtra dated 3rd Jan 2009, wherein the complete redevelopment process is mentioned. So dignitaries on the stage, Prabhu sir, Sampath sir, and all my friends. This is a very big topic and it is very difficult to cover within half an hour. So what I have done, I have got complete presentation, but I will take initial slide bit faster. The very important question is why the society building should be redeveloped. Whether the building has lived its life, whether the building requires extensive structural repairs. We understand the theoretical life of the building is 60 plus. But we stay near Mumbai and due to saline climate, the steel, that the reinforcement gets corroded. And due to its oxidation, the concrete cracks. But if you don't repair that, recurring repairs are there. If you don't repair them properly, these repairs become a cancer to the structure. And then after 30 years, we say rather repair, redevelopment is a better option. So I always think the buildings which are completed with the age of 2025 should not go for repairs. They should not go for redevelopment. They should repair the building because according to me, it is a national waste of complete cost. Okay? So repair your buildings properly. Whether the society premises has enough parking space, do you have enough play area for children? In heavy rain, whether the society plot submerges with flooding water, this is a common problem what we face in all our old existing buildings. Do you have lifts or elders climb to 3rd or 4th floor? Is it convenient to get a patient down through a staircase in emergency? So 30, 40, 50 years old the buildings, the lift was not compulsory and the building used to be constructed till ground plus 4-story and lift was not there. So it is very difficult for a patient to get down without a lift. So with the redevelopment, you will be getting such benefits. Whether the existing flat area is enough for your growing family. Now you may be staying in 1 BHK flat and nowadays the family grows. And every person, the married son, his son or a daughter, everyone needs a room, a separate room. Otherwise it is seen that if the son is to be married, you need to purchase another house for him for his better privacy. Otherwise it is difficult. So the need for the growing family should be addressed. And very important and foremost, whether the available redevelopment schemes are beneficial. Today we met with Subodh Kumar ji. I always say that Subodh Kumar has given blessings to the redevelopment of old buildings. The fungible and the free fungible given to existing society members is a main blessing. And another important point that this fungible which is given or is certified for existing society member cannot be transferred for the sale. So it is your right. It's like a birthright. Okay? So developer doesn't get a temptation that the fungible which is certified for society, he can't sell. Very important provision. Do you have modern facilities like high-speed lift with attractive lobby, wide staircases, children play area and garden, intercom, security camera phone, modern toilets, firefighting system, uninterrupted water supply? In Girgaon and southern Mumbai, there are chawls up to 3, 4, 5-story, and the very problem is that the water is not available at the 4th floor. People need to go down and fill up the bucket and go to upper floors. So for them, redevelopment is blessing. They will get uninterrupted water supply. The fitness center, now 200 square feet or 2% of your built-up area, whichever is more, you get a free of FSI, fitness center, or you may call that as a clubhouse. And in our tender document, we always put a term that developer should give this free of cost with all equipment. Okay? So in your building, you need to have such a facility which is free of FSI. Now let's see the roadblocks in redevelopment. See, prior to 2009, all these roadblocks used to stall or halt a redevelopment process. Many complaints went to the ministry and then these guidelines were framed. Which are the roadblocks? Lack of transparency, lack of technical advice, lack of cooperation and planning, feasibility project report is not prepared, closed invited tendering process, wasted interest and unwanted intervention by managing committee members or society members. Development agreement is biased from developers' point of view. Society's interests are compromised. Disputes between the developer and society, and the redevelopment process get stuck up for unlimited period. This was the usual situation or a scenario prior to 2009. But after the GR which has come, 2009 guidelines explains you exactly what process you need to adopt. And I'll tell you, this process is compulsory. If you feel we will just bypass this process and appoint a developer, it is not possible. Okay? So please just go ahead with a very careful attention. Now, initiative by state government. Study group was formed under the chairmanship of Joint Registrar of Cooperative Societies of SIDCO. Suggestions from various government bodies, experts, professionals were considered and guidelines are formed. So whatever we can see within these guidelines are not prepared by one joint commissioner or a one person. It's like a scenario like go to people, understand their problem and then solve the problem. So these guidelines have basically a solution on all the problems which I explained. State government under 79A of MCS Act 1960 issued Order of Redevelopment of Cooperative Housing Society Buildings. Now let's see in detail. Line of action of redevelopment process as per the guidelines of State Government of Maharashtra dated 3rd Jan 2009. I'll just show you milestones and then explain each and every step in detail. Application for redevelopment, taking quotations from architect PMC, appoint the architect or PMC, documentation and survey, project report, tendering process, comparative analysis, understanding the developer, shortlisting of developer, finalization of developer, development agreement and power of attorney with developer. Now, up to this, the guidelines explain you what exactly you need to do it. But the role of architect or PMC doesn't end at appointment of developer. He needs to be with you till the building is complete and you shift to your permanent accommodation. That's a new building. So what is the role and the responsibilities of architect after appointment of developer? Finalize the building plans, approval of building plans, shifting of society members, commencement of construction, supervision and quality control, occupation certificate from municipal corporation, joint inspection, handing over the possession and the dream come true. Okay, these are the milestones from day first till day last where the redevelopment is successfully completed. Now let's see in detail. Application for redevelopment. Minimum 25% of a society members should give an application to Secretary of Managing Committee which is legally appointed to discuss about the redevelopment process of society building. Now as per the law, if you want to ask or convey a special general body meeting, minimum 25% of society members should give a requisition to a secretary for calling special general body meeting. Okay, but I always advise that before calling this meeting to discuss about the redevelopment process, first of all, you should call for an informal meeting where all the members, their wives or husband and their major children should participate in a very healthy discussion among the society members, and then they are in a position to understand what the pros and cons of the redevelopment. There are many architects, even we go to different societies and give a free of cost lecture or make them aware all these benefits and the responsibilities. Okay. After receiving the application, managing committee will take the decision within 8 days and shall arrange a special general body meeting within 1 month from date of application. Now all these points are given just to follow a transparency and give a justice to members who have asked for a requisition of special general body meeting. So since from the date of receipt of this requisition, within 8 days, secretary should arrange a managing committee meeting, and from that date of receipt of requisition, within 1 month, he needs to call a special general body meeting to discuss about the redevelopment of your building. The notice of the special general body meeting should be given 14 days in advance to the society members. Minimum quorum for the special general body meeting shall be 75%. So for people to make it easy, make it convenient, they need to have at least 14 days of notice for coming for this special general body meeting. Now minimum quorum for this special general body meeting shall be 75. Now here is that hitch. That's why I said it. Before this meeting, you call for such informal meetings where the quorum may not be 75%. But for this meeting, quorum has to be 75%. If the quorum is not 75%, you cannot start the meeting as your usual AGM or a special general body meeting. In such scenario of lack of quorum, the meeting is postponed for 8 days. And even after 8 days, if the quorum is not complete as desired, as 75%, it is assumed, presumed and understood that the society members are not interested in discussing about the redevelopment of your society building, and the whole matter is tossed for 1 more year. You can't discuss, you can't take any meeting on this issue for the further 1 year. That's why please market the concept that we are going for redevelopment, and the cooperation of each and every member should be there to attend this meeting. After brainstorming, the decision for the redevelopment will be taken by minimum majority of 75%. Means the meeting will start subject to 75% of quorum. And once the quorum is complete, you will discuss about the pros and cons of your redevelopment process. And then you need to take a positive decision of going ahead for the redevelopment with a majority of 75% of available minimum majority of 75%. Okay, just to make it simple, if there are 100 members, minimum quorum should be 75. If 80 members are present, then out of 80, 60 members, that is 3/4 of permissible quorum, should give their consent for the redevelopment. Again, the consent of 75% is not there, the problem arises. That's why marketing and making people aware and making them positive is very important. Finalize the line of action for the redevelopment process. Now you need to discuss among yourself and understand, make each and every person aware of what the process of redevelopment is, because people come with their wishes and whims that I want something this, I want this. So to get exact optimum benefits, what is the procedure? That third jam procedure should be explained to each and every society member. The managing committee will get the techno-commercial offers from minimum 5 experienced registered architects or PMC. Now before this special general body meeting, the managing committee should work upon it. They need to close some sort of scope of work to give to architects, and then take a quote from the experienced architect, and those quotes are presented in the said special general body meeting. Discuss about the scope of work of architect or PMC. After the technical scrutiny, finalize the architect or a PMC and give them the appointment letter. So in the said special general body meeting, whatever scope of work you want and the committee has framed needs to be discussed. If it wants to be modified, and accordingly the architect or a PMC should be selected. Now this is a very important stage of your redevelopment, because you are appointing your consultant. If your consultant is experienced credible, capable, then your redevelopment process could be on the right path. If you select a wrong PMC, there is a quite larger possibility that you are going on a wrong path. Now people ask me, sir, if one of the PMC quotes very less, so is it compulsory on us to select a PMC with a L1 quote? Now I always give them the example, whenever you are ill, you don't go to doctor at a corner who may quote 50 rupees or 30 rupees. You always go to your family doctor on whom you have 100% faith, irrespective he charges 100 or 500. It is the same case with architect or chartered accountant or your lawyer. You need to have a perfect advice, and a perfect advice doesn't come free or cheap. Please keep this point very much in your mind. Now in practical advice, in many cases, this appointment and selection of architect doesn't take place in the very special general body meeting wherein you have taken a decision to go ahead for the redevelopment. Now these are the guidelines. They ensure the complete transparency, and it is observed that if the developer is not appointed, architect is not appointed in the said meeting, you can adjourn the said meeting, take another meeting. Within the span of that between two meetings, you do your homework, study the architect's qualifications, experience, put it to your all society members, take their participation, and then select the architect. Procuring latest documents and records of land and building, checking status of conveyance deed and title of the land, detailed contour survey of existing plot boundary of the society land. Now when architect comes into picture, his first duty is to check only of your plot. What is only? Whether you are owner of your land, whether the conveyance is done, whether the property card stands in your name. Okay, do you have all your approved plans which are approved by BMC or MADA or whichever competent authority? Do you have a property card with the area written in figures and words? Does that tally with your actual area in your possession? Does that tally with your city survey sketch? Because nowadays the plans are submitted to municipal corporation in one software. It is called as a pre-DCR. Okay, all the documents are scanned and then submitted. If there is a discrepancy between your actual plan, your area on property card, and as per the city survey sketch, there is a problem. So you need to do a revised survey, get the corrections done of your property card or your city survey sketch to get the maximum benefit out of your potential of the redevelopment, and then go ahead further. Okay, so it is duty of architect to understand that. And then the contour survey. Many cases the road is sloping, the plot size from length to breadth, there is a huge difference in the plot level, or many other times it is observed that the old drainage line or stormwater lines constructed by Britishers, they have gone haywire, and the problems of arising every day in monsoon. I have seen the localities that minimum 4 to 5 times a monsoon, the water logs into either their property, or many other times the sludge, or in easy language, maila of your toilet backflows into your WC due to the backflow in our stormwater and drainage lines from the sea. Okay, so you need to decide your invert level of your proposed building so such problems could be avoided. Understand the existing built-up area of each flat. The managing committee will get the structural audit done about the structural condition of the building from reputed engineering agency. Now we need to understand what exactly the carpet area is with you and what exactly the built-up area, because your fungible is going to be approved on your built-up area of individual flat. Okay, not on the total. Means first the area is certified, which is free of cost. Okay, now here the problem arises. In assessment extract, you may find the carpet area written something different. As for actual survey, the carpet area is something different. As for approved plan, the area may be different. Then when you purchase the flat, the developer writes something different. Okay. Now, The society members are very smart, huh? Very smart. Whatever of their benefit, if it is as per assessment extract, then the assessment extract area should be considered as it is municipal record. If it is beneficial that their actual existing carpet area, if measured length and breadth is more, he will claim, I am using this area, so I should be compensated that. Okay, so this is all problems created by the society members. I always say, forget about each and every area, because 30-40 years back there used to be a practice, if you want to reduce your property tax, reduce your carpet area. So ultimately your carpet area, ultimately your tax is reduced. Now the government officer or BMC officer reduces area of A, he has to compensate somewhere, so he increases of B and C. That is the problem. And then people start fighting. मतलब 30 बरस मैं ज़्यादा कारपेट एरिया से टैक्स भरा और आज आप मेरा कम सर्टिफाई करते हो. बहुत दिल पे चीज होती है ये लोगों की. But you need to be very tough on the issue. The area could be certified only and only of what exactly you are occupying at your flat. Okay? Now the structural audit. Before going for redevelopment, it is the responsibility of a committee to do a structural audit, because that guides you whether you need to go for repairs or you need to go for redevelopment. Now in absence of that, under guidance of architect and eminent structural consultant, that structural report from very good agencies should be done. Now there are mushroom agencies, as the corporation has sent letter to each and every society, do a structural audit. Every engineer has become a structural auditor, purchasing equipment of 4-5 lakhs, and कोई 10वीं 12वीं पास लड़का आता है और वो चेक करता है और कुछ उसमें गाइडेंस नहीं है. So beware of such fake agencies. Scrutiny of approved plans and existing status of building. Study the available schemes for the redevelopment, that is incentive, MADA or MMRDA. Now architect's duty is understand exactly to put all figures in place, because next step is preparing a project report. Preparation of detailed area statement as per bylaws of local authorities. Project report to check the potential of commercial feasibility. Now we need to understand what is the juice in the project. Many people ask us a question in a very, after I conclude my lecture, सर मेरा दादर में फ्लैट है 500 फुट, मेरे को कितना सर ज़्यादा एरिया मिलेगा. सब चीज़ उसके ऊपर ही आती है. मेरे को कॉर्पस कितना मिलेगा, मेरे को एरिया कितना मिलेगा. They don't understand what is there within your property. सर वो बाजू वाले को 40% मिला, मेरे को मिलेगा क्या? वो 40% मिलेगा तो ही मेरा हाँ है. Okay, such things are very wrong. Let's understand. We need to work it out, a detailed project report. The project report will be circulated to all the society members, and their suggestions are invited 8 days in advance of the special general body meeting. Now when the architect prepares the project report, it is a duty of the secretary of the managing committee to circulate the said project report to all the society members and make them acquainted what exactly the scenario of technical and commercial potential of your project. These suggestions are sent to architect for his guidance 7 days in advance of the special general body meeting. After detailed discussion, accepted suggestions will be incorporated in the project report. Now the society members will study and give their suggestions. Now the valid suggestions are accepted in the project report. I can't accept any weird suggestion. सर हमको ऐसा प्रोजेक्ट रिपोर्ट बनाओ कि हमको 50% एरिया मिल जाए और 2-4 हज़ार रुपये हमको कॉर्पस मिलेगा. ऐसा बनाते हो तो हम अप्रूव करते हैं. Now this is a very wrong type of attitude. It is only based on what I am getting. Okay? So we explain them what exactly the project report is. Now what project report is? First of all, it is a citation of your built-up area statement. Now what is your plot? Okay? Based on that, whether there are any reservations, road widening, okay? If your plot is more than 2125 square meters, then the recreation garden, that is 15% plot, that is FSI, is deducted. And then what all road area is deducted. and then your basic FSI plus your TDR plus your fungible. So what is altogether a permissible built-up area? Now after understanding the permissible built-up area, we take a basic first call that deduct your existing carpet area, existing built-up area out of that, then deduct whatever fungible which is free of cost to you, deduct that, and then take some view that you may get 10% additional or a 15% additional free of cost area from developer. Deduct that as your benefit over and above your existing carpet area and fungible. Then whatever remains is the built-up area as a sale to developer. Now understand, whenever a developer sells any built-up area or carpet area, he loads some percentage of loading as saleable built-up area, super built-up area, super duper built-up area. Now one may ask, sir, it is not allowed, only carpet area is to be sold. Sir, I understand, but developers sell, however, the documents are registered on carpet area, but whenever you go to developer to purchase a flat, he will say, sir, मेरा 20,000 रुपया भाव है और मेरा 60% loading है. So whenever a developer considers loading, we as well should consider what is there in mind of developer and what is his calculation. Ultimately, ये सब बेच बाज के developer जेब में कितना किटी जमा करेगा, that is our intention to understand. जितना आप वो फिगर सही कैलकुलेट करो, more chances of you getting more benefits. ठीक है? Then you work it out. Though the sale of car park is not official, now developers allot car park to a particular flat. Now Western Mumbai, Western suburb, it is simple thumb rule. If there are 2 BHK, minimum 2 parkings are allotted. If there are 3 BHK, 3 car parkings are allotted. And the cost of that parking, anything ranging from 5 lakhs to 10 lakh, is included in that cost of the flat. So we need to consider that as a revenue. Okay. Now here you will understand a revenue part. Now vis-a-vis, we need to understand what are the expenses. Now the first expenses is your cost. After the cost, purchase of TDR, then premium towards your TDR in 2 forms. One where the corporation sells at a concessional price, that is 33%. Then other TDR which you purchase from an open market from developers, and out of the total TDR, 20% has to be minimum from slum. Okay, these are some technical terminologies. Then you need to pay development charges, scrutiny fee, deposit, additional staircase premium, because staircase and the lobby is free of FSI, but you need to pay charges. And then your open space deficiencies. So all put together, those are the expenses towards approval. Then expenses of your nature, like how much corpus or hardship amount it is to be paid to you. Okay, how much rent a developer is paying per month. Then usually 10% rent is increased per year. Okay, then while you are looking at a temporary alternate accommodation, earlier developer used to give accommodation, but nowadays developer they do not give you accommodation. We need to search. For that matter, they give you a brokerage. Now brokerage amounts to 1 month of rent. Okay? Then taking into account the difficulty of senior citizens of moving their furniture from their existing house, developers give a transportation charges. Like packers and movers. Okay, they pay that. Then the other expenses of bank guarantee, then interest. So you add the total expenses by thumb rule, whatever expenses of a total project, okay, around 40 to 50% expenses developer needs to pay till the foundation is complete. Understand? 40 to 50% of total expenses he needs to incur up to the level of foundation, which is a big amount, which is really a big amount. Okay, so earlier one of the colleagues said that the developer is not only the investor, he is also a developer. Now many people say that we want a 100% bank guarantee, we want escrow account, we want a complete corpus fund at the first go. Okay, it is better for our security, safety, but many a times developer in practice, they do not give all corpus at first hand. Complete project cost as your security or bank guarantee. So you need to negotiate maximum possible way, take help of your eminent architect, eminent lawyer, and see to it that maximum security is with you. Okay. After that, revenue minus your expenses, whatever profit remains. Now our thumb rule is, on total expenditure, if the profit margin is within 20 to 25%, it is a decent profit. Okay, 20 to 25% on a total expenditure, it is a decent profit. Developers would give you a better option and better benefit in the redevelopment. Then we as well give a status report along with the project report that makes all the kundli वो ली रहते हैं. Like a doctor writes when the patient is admitted in hospital. तो सुबह का डॉक्टर लिख देता है, शाम का डॉक्टर आता है, वो उसको फोन नहीं करता, he just reads it. So complete status report of your property should be documented. Then there are benefit sheets. Each member, your existing area, what likely you may get additional free area. Then there is always a clause in my tender that the society members would be interested in purchasing additional carpet area up to the slab of 10%, and developer needs to quote that at a concession price. So that benefit is also there. And then each and every member, how much total rent he would get per year, or for a term of 24 months or 36 months, he understands that. How much corpus he is getting, everything is described in the benefit sheet. And then along with that, all the guidelines, bylaws, and all the rules and regulations which affect the project report and the development process. So you should not be in position, or it is not required to any society member to ask architect, sir ये कैसा हो गया, ये fungible क्या है? So there has to be document annexed to your project report. The modified project report will be approved by the majority in the special general body meeting. The architect will be requested to prepare a tender document as per approved terms and conditions. In this meeting, जो आपकी भावना है, जो आपकी requirement है, please put it to your architect. So whenever he prepares the draft of development agreement, all those wishes and requirements are properly incorporated. Understanding the requirements from society members and the real estate market trend, the tender document is prepared by keeping either required carpet area or corpus fund constant as basic condition. It is my advice, पैसा तो हम सब लोग कमाते हैं, इसलिए ज़्यादा कॉर्पस मत ले लो. जितना आपका मेंटेनेंस बढ़ेगा उतना ही कैपिटल ले लो. कि मैं 100 रुपया बैंक में रखता हूँ तो एट 1% पर मंथ मुझे 1 रुपया मिलेगा, तो मेरे को 6 रुपया समझो. If I need to spend more on my maintenance cost per month, take 600 to 1000 rupees as corpus per square feet on existing carpet area. Don't go more than that, and please try to extract maximum area, क्योंकि आपके आगे के लाइफ टाइम में ये बिल्डिंग वापस रीडेवलपमेंट होने वाली नहीं है. सो दिस इज ओनली अपॉर्चुनिटी टू गेट मोर एंड मोर एरिया अटैच्ड टू योर फ्लैट. The tender notice will be published in a reputed newspaper. The society members may ask non-reputed developers to participate in the tendering process. The tender document will be released from architect's office and will be submitted in the society office. Why in architect's office? Because he markets the tender properly. He explains all the developer clearly कि सर ये हमारा प्रोजेक्ट कितना सुंदर है, what all plus point it has. If the project, the tender document released from society, you being not technical person, you cannot tell all the colorful feathers of your project. The tender document will consist of tender notice, area statement, methodology, terms and conditions, list of amenities, property document, existing survey drawings, and photograph of your building. Now, tender document is a very, very important document, because if all the terms and conditions are mentioned properly, and if you get the declaration signed by the developer that all the term conditions are acceptable to us, then the hurdles while drafting the development agreement are reduced. Each and every point which generally all advocates, all solicitors frame in development agreement, we draft those agreement terms in tender document. Okay, so tender document should be very important. Give all the plus minus points of all your society. If there is a technical discrepancy, please put it. So tomorrow one should not say, sir, you have not told this fact that the plot area differs slightly between property guard and city survey sketch. Now this is a defect in your title. So whatever is as is various basis, we have put it all facts to the developers. So tomorrow it should not boomerang on the society. Okay. So make your tender document very comprehensive. All the amenities, make it very specific. हम बहुत अच्छा टाइल लेंगे, मजबूत दरवाजा देंगे, अच्छी अच्छी फैसिलिटी, ये अच्छा अच्छा मजबूत कुछ नहीं होता सर. देयर हैज टू बी अ स्पेसिफिकेशन. इट हैज टू बी 5 inch 5 mm thick vitrified tiles of 2 feet by 2 feet size of so and so company. It has to be Tata GI pipes. It has to be Jaguar, Continental or Savoy fittings. And what all facilities you want other than the standard facilities, give a detailed clarification of all electric points you want. दिवाली में कंदील लगाते उसका भी पॉइंट उसमें आना चाहिए. ठीक है, टाइम कम है, मैं ज़्यादा डिटेल नहीं जाता, मगर सिंपल जो भी हम इंटीरियर डेकोरेट करते हैं फ्लैट, तभी जितने पॉइंट्स लगते हैं you need to mention that in your tender document. So tomorrow there are no problems, no hiccups in your development agreement. The tender document will be approved in a special general body meeting by majority. All the tenders should be opened by the members of managing committee in the presence of society members, architect PMC and the representatives of developers. खाली डेवलपर के रिप्रेजेंटेटिव के सामने कमर्शियल ऑफर मत बताना, नहीं तो ये हो जाएगा, डेवलपर बोलेगा ठाकुर जी गलती की, तिजोरी खोल के दिखा दी. So you should not reveal what offers developers have given. This is my request. Whatever is written, you should not reveal to developers. After opening of the offers received from developers, the secretary will make the list of received tenders and will display on society notice board. For more transparency purposes, this is required. I generally say you form a group either on a Gmail or a Yahoo, and all your documents put on that group. Make all the members as administrator will accept them. So tomorrow no one should say, sir ये हमको कुछ मालूम ही नहीं, मैं तो बैंगलोर में रहता हूँ. Should not happen. All the received offers will be handed over to architect for his assessment. The architect will prepare a techno-commercial comparative analysis and will submit to managing committee to circulate the same to all society members. So architect will prepare a technical analysis, will explain all the society members for them to know which developer is giving more area, which developer is giving more rent, and then the capital costing is to be worked out. Generally we get fooled, that area, that developer is giving 2% more area, so he must be the best developer. It doesn't matter. Many other times the person who is giving you more rent, he may be spending more on you because that is the recurring expense. So you need to find out the capital costing and need to understand which developer is spending more on you, so to understand which developer is better for us. The technical and commercial discussions with the developers are carried out during the joint meeting. All the information and clarifications are sought from developers regarding their capability and credibility. Now it is observed that in spite of giving clear instructions in tender, developer tend to miss many things. Corpus देंगे, कभी-कभी देंगे, वो लिखेंगे नहीं. बैंक गारंटी कितना देंगे, कभी-कभी रिलीज हो जाएगी, वो लिखेंगे नहीं. So in such joint meeting, in presentation, you should tell them, now you again give your best offer with all the clarifications required in a sealed envelope, and then you repeat the same process of opening. Shortlisting of developers. Now site visit shall be done to check the quality and construction management of probable shortlisted developers. Taking into consideration capability, credibility and commercial offer, minimum 5 developers should be shortlisted. If the tenders have come 4, then let's shortlist all 4. If you find one to be very bad, just remove it. Be happy on 3. The draft of terms and conditions of development agreement and power of attorney will be discussed with approved developer, because during the process of negotiation, if a new clause has come, new conditions have come, get it approved from developer then and there itself. Now, very important stage of finalization of developer. Application should be sent to the Office of Deputy Registrar of Cooperative Housing Society well in advance to be present for special general body meeting, which will be in camera. Now understand, in this meeting, the quorum should be again minimum 75% like your first meeting. Now first meeting, once you decided to go ahead for redevelopment, that resolution to be submitted to Deputy Registrar, so he understands you are going under the process of redevelopment. Now again you need to market it properly and make sure that the date of your special general body meeting should be holiday all the members are present, all the primary members are to attend the meeting. If there are senior citizens, please ensure wheelchair में लेके आओ, कैसा भी लेके आओ, please ensure that all members are present in the said meeting. Again, if the quorum is not 75%, the meeting is to be postponed or adjourned for 8 days. And again, in the next meeting, if the quorum is not 85%, it is decided that people, members are not interested in redevelopment, the process is tossed for 1 year, and then whatever you have done for last 4-5 months go waste. Okay, so you need to mark it, ensure it that each and every member should be present with the iCard and everything. Now this meeting is in camera and the authorized member of Deputy Registrar is present. In his presence, the meeting is conducted. In the said special general body meeting, Architect PMC will explain the comparative analysis and the complete process which he has executed after submitting 5 shortlisted developers. The shortlisted 5 developers will make a presentation of their commercial offer one after another. Taking all points of the final comparative analysis into account, the developer is approved and finalized with a minimum majority of 75%. Again, 100 if the society members are there, 75 minimum present. If 80 members are there, 60 members should go for one developer, then only he is selected as developer. The Deputy Registrar of Cooperative Housing Society will furnish his no objection certificate or a consent. Before that, the developer should give his acceptance letter towards his selection and will endorse the decision taken by a special general body meeting subject to compliance of authorized procedure. Okay, you need to follow that and go ahead with the authorized procedure. Now, a Deputy Registrar gives 2 letters, one to you and developer, and another copy to the executive engineer of a building proposal department, wherein you need to submit that copy when you submit your plans for approval in BMC. Okay, the present commissioner of BMC has given the directives to all building proposal department of BMC that without the NOC, the consent of Deputy Registrar of Cooperative Societies, you should not entertain any proposal. So don't take lightly that this procedure is not compulsory. This procedure is very well compulsory and you need to follow. As per the approved terms and conditions, the legal advisor will prepare a draft of development agreement and power of attorney, also a draft of bank guarantee. It's very important in consultation with society architect. The said draft is discussed, modified and mutually agreed between the developer. The special general body will approve the draft of development agreement and power of attorney and will nominate minimum 3 members to enter into development agreement on behalf of the society. Okay? The development agreement should be signed and registered within 1 month from date of finalization of developer. Now further line of action within a minute or two I'll just go through, because the role of PMC doesn't end at the appointment of developer. It is only 25%. Your existing building is dilapidated in 30 years, so you are going for redevelopment. So the new building which you are constructing also has to be of a very good quality, all IS standards and all best standard practices. So just 10 points. Building plans are prepared and approved by society. Building plans are submitted and IOD is received from BMC. Allotment of flats and shops is done, followed by individual agreement. You should not vacate the premises, okay, before IOD. Understand that. That is your safety. The society members shift to temporary alternate accommodation and hand over the possession of the land and building to developer for demolition of existing building. Now you are not transferring the ownership of the land. You are just giving you license to enter the plot and execute the activity as lined in your development agreement. The construction management plan is worked out and the quality of construction is ensured. You need to work out a detailed plan. Car policy, contractors all risk policy. We call it the SHE policy, ASHI, security, health, insurance. All those policies are properly planned. PERT CPM chart, when the excavation will start, when it will complete, when the first slab will be casted, when the brickwork will start. So if by eventually of any problem, if you delay the process, you can very well work out on that action plan, PERT CPM bar chart, and see to it that the project doesn't delay. After completion of construction work, occupation certificate is received from BMC. Completion certificate is also received. Joint inspection is done to check the quality, amenities in individual flat, because the corporation engineer won't go in much detail whether your tile is cracked or whether your electric point is broken. We should see that. Joint inspection, if there are snags, snag list is worked out, the developer should complete the snags within the 15 days or 20 days, then again joint visit. When all things are properly certified, your society architect PMC will give a certificate that the building is completed in all the respect and the possession should be taken. The possession of land and building is taken, that is the license is revoked, given to a developer, okay, taken back from a developer. And the last, the redevelopment process is successfully completed in all respect, okay. In first session I explained, be practical. This is not an opportunity for you to select your flat. As you select a flat, when you go to purchase your first flat, there you can select your developer, select the location, select the plan, select the amount, select the rate. Here, all the choice is not with you. You need to be a bit flexible. You can't just say, my earlier flat, my kitchen was facing east, so सूरज उगता था, मैं नमस्ते करके काम शुरू करता था. Now it is on the west. Please don't do that. मैं इतना बरस वो ग्राउंड फ्लोर पे रहा, अभी मेरे को टॉप फ्लोर रहना है. Please don't have such wishes and whims. Be flexible. This is not a time to counter and आपके जो पुराने हिसाब चुकते करने का ये टाइम नहीं है. Please forget all those points. Don't ignore senior citizens. मैं एक ही चीज खाली बोलूंगा, जब भी लास्ट स्टेटमेंट, जब भी रीडेवलपमेंट के लिए हम जाते हैं तो मेनी अर टाइम्स सीनियर सिटीजन से, अरे मैं तो अभी 80 बरस का हो गया हूँ, कहाँ अभी मैं भाड़े के घर में जाऊंगा, मुझे तो मरना यही है, जीना तो यही हो गया, मुझे यही मरना है. प्लीज डोंट ये रीडेवलपमेंट मत करो. मैं उनको बोलता हूँ सर, आज आप नहीं करोगे बोलोगे, मे बी 5 years डाउन द लाइन, फॉरबिडन गॉड, ये नहीं होगा कि आप नहीं रहे, मगर समझो दुर्भाग्य से आप गुजर जाते हो तो 5 बरस बाद जो पहले 75 साल का था वो भी 80 साल हो जाएगा. इफ ही सेज द सेम थिंग कि इमारत का क्या होएगा, ये तो विधवा बनेगी इमारत. सो ऐसा सोचो मत. लास्ट स्टेटमेंट एक सीनियर सिटीजन ने मुझे बताया, वो आज आप पॉजिटिव नोट लेके जाना. बहुत सारी निगेटिव चीजें भी आज डिस्कस हुई है, ये गवर्नमेंट लॉज ऐसे है, डेवलपर कभी कभी अपने को क्या बोलते हैं चीट करता है. ऑन ऑल जॉइन हैंड विद डेवलपर. सबसे चीज जो एक सीनियर सिटीजन ने बताई, लुक रीडेवलपमेंट इन अ वेरी पॉजिटिव एंगल and give senior citizens a chance to do something and hand over some legacy to next generation. क्योंकि ये रीडेवलपमेंट वो सीनियर सिटीजन खुद के लिए नहीं कर रहे, ना उनके लड़के के लिए कर रहे, शायद उनके जो डॉटर इन लॉ और सन इन लॉ है या उनके जो पोते हैं उनके लिए करके जा रहे, एक ठेवा छोड़ के जा रहे, एक लीगेसी छोड़ के जा रहे. सो बी पॉजिटिव एंड बी सक्सेसफुल. थैंक यू.